Hello. Okay, where to begin? I'd like to apologize to the people that have been trying to contact me, and I've been out of touch for the past few days for the most part. Uh, Things really went to hell for me, and I had to fight like hell to pull things back together. Everything just crashed and burned, and I really had to make some miracles happen to fix it. So I haven't been, you know, keeping in touch with a lot of other of you guys out there recently, and I apologize for that. I'm not sure if it's a big deal. To me, it seems to be because I mean, so fucking much has happened that some of you guys, it seems like I haven't spoken to you in years. To me, so I'm really sorry. Uh, I'm really sorry if it's a big deal to any of you. In any case, I did in fact make miracles happen and turn things around, and I was compensated for my troubles greatly, and other members of the Directive are being directly compensated by the world for their efforts. Every single member who accepts responsibility for doing this and treats it as a duty actually assigns a certain amount of attention to keeping up with this project. And as soon as they do this week, for the works theme, I guess it was a reward for them that everyone who jumped in has been directly, almost immediately, directly compensated in some way by the world. Synchronicities have occurred that led them to, you know, being rewarded in some way, getting things that they need or want or require, what have you, just being miraculously given, you know, things that they have been they've been requiring or needing. In any case, I'd like to tell you a story of the very recent past, and this story might come off to some people as being somewhat offensive or uncomfortable. I I really don't know. Like, I have an idea as to why people feel that way about certain things, but to me, this all it's become very strange the way that people treat things to me, because the way that I think and the way that I feel about things obviously is very different from most people, and it's become so commonplace to me that I've grown distant from the rest of the world, and I don't understand a lot of the thoughts and feelings that people out there have. I don't understand the way that people behave. It's really just baffling to me how I don't know how to term it without being offensive, how stupid some people really are. Most people. It's I'm sorry, it's offensive to me, really. It becomes offensive to me how ridiculously just off most people are nowadays. But regardless of that, I would like to assure you that if you bear with me towards the center of the story, when I start to come to the point of it, I will assuage these feelings and show you that this is actually a topic worth inquiring. This is gonna, if you pay attention to this story, this will give you um, a greater understanding of what it is we're trying to get at and what it is I'm trying to teach you, and maybe perhaps even give you a method of getting a glimpse of what I'm trying to show you. So to begin, I had a few extra bucks. I have a few extra bucks. I had a few extra dollars in my pocket left over. It wasn't enough to get the bills paid. It wasn't really enough to do anything very important with. So, I mean, I did what I usually do when I have some extra scratch after I got home, and busting my ass all day trying to fucking cover things, get things taken care of. Of course, getting money allowed for me to do a lot more than I was able to before, and that money was miraculously handed to me by the world. It was just, it showed up for no reason, and it was just handed to me. I can't tell you the particulars of how it was handed to me. That I've been asked to keep that hush hush, but um, I can tell you that it was on the up and up. Nothing, nothing odd, nothing off, nothing criminal occurred. It was just, it seems almost like a glitch. It just showed up, this money, and I was gifted enough to take care of things for the most part. Although I say I'm still behind on my bills, but I'm pretty much back to where I started before all hell broke loose. In any case, I did what I usually do when I have a few extra bucks in my pocket that I can't use for anything else, and I went down to the club, bought myself a soda, and I'm sitting there, and they're playing my song. Every single song that pops on, it's a song I deeply love for very specific reasons. So I wanted to get up and dance. I wanted to hit that dance floor and bust a move with some of the exceptionally attractive ladies. That it's a This is a transgender club down the street. I was introduced to this club by a girl that I briefly dated on and off for a little while. This girl was particularly magnificent. I really had a thing for her. Like I was head over heels for this girl. I wanted to I really wanted to take a shot at this one. She seemed like she might be the one for a moment there. And she kept every like if she was more of a like she wasn't never had an actual lasting relationship before, and she really didn't know how to handle it. She seemed so like surprised by me sticking to my guns with her, and she was so sweet, and she acted like a hard ass all the time. She acted like a meanie, but man, she was when it was she and I, just together. She was so sweet and kind and caring. Just a wonderful person. Look in her eyes when the way that she looked at me just kind of melted my heart. I mean, she looked at me like she couldn't believe what I was, how I was just how much I liked her and wanted her, how I felt about her. It's like she was baffled by it. She had never seen that before, I guess. She was more of a one night stand type, a hit and run person. And that's kind of how she had lived her life up to the point where she met me, and I was a hit and run. I was a one night stand that she picked up. And the next day, after that night, after that one night stand, I contacted her again and I asked her out again. And she was reluctant, but I put the charms on her and I got her to turn around and say yes. And we dated for a little while. And she, every other date or, 2 or 3 dates, she would kind of back off and she would come up with some stupid, ridiculously childish reason to push me away and say, we shouldn't be together. This isn't going to work. But I kept at it, and I was persistent. Man, I fought hard for this one. I mean, I pulled out all the stops. I want, the grand gestures and the gifts and the poetry and the whole nine. I did everything to try and win this one over. And when I finally did, when I finally got her, and I had that deal sunk. I really had it. Finally got an actual shot to kind of put it together with her and get something going for real. Someone who was very close to me at the time kind of stepped in and did something pretty terrible to make sure that this girl turned that around and never ever that shot was ruined. That chance, that opportunity was sabotaged, and my chances with this girl were they're lost forever. Anyways, I stuck with the club because she introduced me to this club, and I kind of met the people there, and I befriended them, and I liked it because this place is jumping. Like the trans, the trans community, they get it going down at this club, man. It's banging most of the time. Sometimes it's dead. Sometimes I show up there and there's like two people there, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, and I leave. But most of the time, it's hopping. The place is filled to the brim, and everybody's just having a ball. I love it. So I go down there. I get soda. They're playing my song, every song, and I want to hit the dance floor. I want to get up and I want to dance with these beautiful ladies. very top. I'm not going to give them quotations. They are ladies. They're beautiful, extremely attractive ladies. Most of them. I can't. Anybody who takes offense to that, sorry. They're hot. They're very hot. Uh, if you take offense to me saying that too, I apologize. I used to be a kind of a ladies' man. Now I'm just here with you guys. But and now I'm just a working man, and I don't. I'm not sure that I'll take any more chances with that. That last one was pretty hurtful to me. Anyways, I want to dance, but I realized that I gotta kind of use the bathroom. I was fine when I left, obviously, or I would have used the bathroom at home. But that soda got things moving, and I gotta poop. So I gotta poop, and yeah, it's not. I don't have to poop immediately. It's not like pushing itself out or anything, but it's there, and I know that it's there. I'm aware of it, and so I can't get up and dance. Why? Because I gotta poop. I mean, I'm sure you can relate. Getting up and dancing is kind of a sexiness thing. You know, it's an appealing, I feel sexy kind of thing. I'm gonna get up and move it. It's a intimate sort of romantic kind of outgoing gesture, and that having to poop factor is going to ruin that every time. Now, why? Spotters are always asking why. Keep that in mind. Why is that having to poop? I don't have to do it immediately. It's not something that's fucking knocking at my door. It's not bothering me. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It doesn't alter anything really. It's just there. But its presence is stifling me for a very specific reason. Because dancing is something that requires you to feel sexy and outgoing. However, having to poop is going to ruin that because mankind has, gone to great lengths to make absolutely certain that everybody understands that poop is gross. Poop is not sexy. Now, of course, there are certain people who do find it kind of sexy, I guess, and I don't get that. I mean, I understand why they feel that way. I can see the values in play, but uh, it's not something that I could ever get myself. Like, no way. Poop is not sexy. There's nothing sexy about it, and the people using that, as a sexual thing that's beyond me. I'm sorry. You guys are. I'm not gonna call you weirdos, but I just did, I guess. Anyways, uh, the reason the reason that it ruins the sexiness factor is because of the aspects that are attached to the value. The poop itself, it's not anything. It's not anything. It's just an object. Okay? It's just an object and it's a natural function of the body. It's a natural process. It's a natural substance that's produced by the body. It's nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong about it or bad about it. However, the aspects that are attached to the primary value that constructs that object, that poop, that fecal object is it's just a value. In ultimate reality, it's a value that has constructed a body to present itself, and that primary value is that prime value behind it. It's not anything. It's neutral. It's not good or bad. It doesn't have any meaning really. But as I said, mankind has made certain everybody knows that it's gross and that it's disgusting. That is a turnoff. And those are the aspects that are attached to it for whatever reason we made it that way. And those aspects themselves, when you view that thing, when your perception goes to that object, it's going for the prime value. But it hits those objects and it fractures and it has all these descriptors of it attached to it because of that aspect, like disgusting, gross, you know, turn off. These descriptions themselves have aspects to their values that cause for your perspective, your perception to shatter upon, you know, upon hitting those as well. And those factors, aspects attached, the aspects that are attached to the value of the descriptions in play there, those are deliberately assigned to that value for the purpose of shattering your perception by people that intentionally did this. That is an example of how our language is corrupted again. That word, that description itself, the value of that descriptor is corrupted. When your perception goes for it, most people do. Some people see value. Some people can see actual value. Spotters are trained to see value, and apparently we are kind of rare technically. I mean, we're all over the fucking place, obviously, but a lot of you guys that might be watching, you are spotters, but we are actually a rare sort. We are, what's the word, a minority, and we want to change that because this is important. I'm, I'm trying to tell you guys why. Some people can see value, however, most people, their perception is kind of viewing things from a shallow sort of perspective. They are looking at the surface of things instead of the substance, and they're certainly not hitting bottom. They're seeing the surface of the things in play, and they're seeing the aspects. And when the perception hits those aspects, it fractures just like light fractures when it hits, a crystal or what have you, um, prism. I mean, and it goes all over the place. And if you follow that, if you're a spotter and you can see how these aspects are maneuvering your attention, when you see these aspects and your perception shatters into all these descriptors that also shatter it into other descriptors in other places, and if you follow that, it'll go on forever. It will keep shattering and just blowing up and going out into eternity. That will keep going on and on and on if you follow the understanding that you have these aspects in play. And there's a reason for that. It's designed that way. In some cases, these aspects are deliberately assigned by people who want to confuse you, essentially. They know that when your perception hits it, it's going to cascade into a prism effect of all these different aspects that are in play for everything, for all the words that you use, for all the thoughts that you have. There are aspects attached to every value, and it will keep shattering on and on and on if you follow it, and eventually you just give up. But it's designed to confuse you, just to reach out into eternity. It's a trick. It's an illusion. This concept of eternity, really, it goes on forever, but it's a deliberate trick. In some cases, as I said, it's deliberately assigned by certain people who knew what they were doing for the purposes of confusing the masses, as it were, confusing the populace. However, in most cases, these aspects are just deliberately assigned by us for the purposes simply of keeping the game running. That these aspects are essential to keeping up the illusion, to keeping our awareness entertained, or I don't know what the word to use there is, but keeping things going. So these aspects are in play to keep things going, because if you just saw the values of things, nothing would mean anything. The aspects are what give things meaning, but this meaning is in many cases deliberately corrupted. Is basically what I've been saying, or trying to say. In any case, the prime value of the object in that the object of inquiry here, the poop, the prime value there is, people consider this because of the aspects. They consider it to be gross. They consider it to be disgusting. They consider it to be something to be avoided, and bad, and just generally bad thing. However, the prime value in play there that actually makes this object happen is simply it's a sign, it's a statement that you're healthy. It's a statement that you're functioning properly. It's waste. It's waste that exists because you have utilized energy to digest, to consume and digest fuels in the body. And that's the waste that's produced from your activity. So basically, it's just a statement that you're functioning, that you're alive and moving, that you are functioning properly, your body is working, you know? So it's a good thing. It's actually good in reality. It's a good thing. It's a sign that things are going well. And of course, I mean, people could say they're at that, well, it smells awful, but how the fuck do you know? Some people think it smells great. It's a matter of perspective, really. It's the smell of it, the value of the scent of it is just an alert. This is here. That's all. It doesn't mean anything, really. But you have aspects attached to it that tell you it's bad. And you think it is because you have this programming in play that gives you an idea of what things are when in fact they are not what you think they are at all. The poop is just a good thing. It's just a statement that things are working fine. Of course, then also you could say, well, what about things like diarrhea? Well, diarrhea, as disgusting as it may seem to people, it's a sign that there is an ailment. You know, it's a statement for you that something is not working properly. That it's an alert that, hey, it's like a little friend calling up saying, hey, something's wrong, you need to deal with it. So that's a good thing too. If you get to the prime value, if you cut through, pull out the sword of decision, and just toss out the trash and cut through to the primary value of any object in play, of anything in the whole world, to test it out. If you cut through to the prime value, it's going to be a positive charge every time. There is no bad in the world. There really is nothing bad or wrong. It just, if you cut through to the bottom, you're going to find a positive charge. Now, actually, it's a neutral charge technically. There is no, it's perfectly balanced. It doesn't mean anything. It has no purpose or meaning really. But in order for us to observe it as being an object, we have to define it. And so, an initial judgment needs to be passed, which is always going to be positive because it just is what it is. It's a sign showing us what is happening. Everything is just, it's the world speaking to us saying, hey, this is what it is. That's all. And it's point blank. You hit that bottom, that prime value. It describes itself perfectly. It just is what it is. And you get to that description, that perfect description, that judgment, and that's it. It is what it is. Full stop. End of story. No shattering. No cascading into different descriptions. No getting confused and losing track and falling into eternity. It just point blank is. I am that I am, and it's just telling you what is. But in any case, the point being that we have these aspects attached to every object in play, and they cause for some of us to believe things that are just out there. The belief comes into play with our consideration of objects, and it's just of objects and things, people, places, things, whatever, everything. And we have considerations, and as I said, these aspects in many cases are deliberately assigned by people. These are aspects that have been programmed into your head by society, by schooling, by your upbringing. The aspects that have been imposed upon you that you're not even aware of. They've been programmed into your head, and that's what you see when you look at a thing. You don't see the actual thing for what it is. You see what somebody's taught you to, and that's something you want to try and keep up with and pay attention to as you move through your daily life. Is, are the considerations that you're making yours? Are they really your own? Do they belong to you? Or are they kind of like alien to you? Do they seem as though you don't really understand why you have them? You're going to find that a lot if you you work this way, if you could see value, or you're starting to see value, I'm hoping that this example has given you, you know, kind of a glimpse in how it works or what's going on here. Really, I mean, ultimately, I could have gotten up and danced, is what I'm saying. There's nothing stopping me, but these hallucinogenic aspects that do not actually exist, that don't really, that are stuck in my head, that don't really mean anything, that don't make any sense, but they cause for me to feel a certain way. You get me? That's what time mechanics is getting at. These values have a meaning that will cause for you to feel a certain way, which is always going to be a positive charge. That's the initial judgment. That's the first thought for a thing. Now, it's the reflection, the initial reflection. When you hit an aspect and that becomes your initial reflection, when you hit a negative aspect and you have a negative feeling about something, a negative, consideration towards something because of an aspect that's attached to the value, that is what we would call original sin. That's the first thought being corrupted, and you no longer being able to see the reality of a thing. You're blind. You're seeing an illusion, a magic trick. You're not seeing the reality of things. You're seeing a, an illusion. You're seeing a trick. But you're being tricked, I guess. But like I said, I could have gotten up and danced. Nothing was stopping me except for my own corrupted thoughts that caused me to feel a certain way. We want to alter that. We want to get people on page where you can see the reality of things instead of the trickery, and you can get that positive charge and feel good instead of having things that really shouldn't make you feel bad all the time. You guys, a lot of you feel bad. You know, you have such issues with depression and whatnot, and PTSD and shit like that. And these are things that shouldn't be happening. They're not real. I mean, if you have like clinical depression, there there's got to be a reason behind that. You know, it's not just your brain doesn't just kind of malfunction like that and make you depressed. The medical community would have you believe that because they don't believe that you're real. They think you're a machine. They don't believe that your emotions affect your existence. They don't believe that your thoughts can affect your reality. They think you're just a machine. They think you're just the body. They don't understand that you're real. They don't believe in you. So understand what I'm getting at here. I hope you guys are just starting to get this. The medical community does not believe that you're a real person, and so they're going to tell you that you're depressed all the time because your brain's not producing enough serotonin or some nonsense like that. No, you're depressed all the time because the world is telling you to be, and you don't see it. You don't know that it's happening. We're gonna teach you how to see it, and it's very easy. Once you do see value, it's easy to stop it. It's easy to change anything you want. You become operative, and you can actually control the way that you think and feel about things instead of being a fucking victim all the time, which is what's happening now with these current generations. Everybody is a victim. Everybody loves to play victim. Everybody loves to be beat down. Everything's getting on to them. Everything's so difficult, and they're losing their minds all the time, and it's impossible to keep their shit together. Bullshit. You just you're just not you're not getting the point. You guys are just you're being manipulated all the time, and I have to say now with me here telling you this, if any of you are paying attention and you're still doing that, you're still repeating those habits and feeling that way, it's just because you're lazy. I'm sorry. It's just because you're lazy and you're careless. I'm telling you how to get at these things. I'm telling you how to fix these problems. And it's simple. It's not going to be really easy at first because you have to break the pattern. You have to break the routine that you have. But that in itself, it's simple to do. If you can see what's really happening and you're paying attention, it's very simple. So that story, I hope, was a good example or a decent example of what I'm trying to say to you when I tell you that spotters see value, that spotters are trained to see value. Every object in play has a reality behind it. It has a prime value that's always going to be very simple, very basic, very point blank understandable, descriptive in and of itself as what it is, full stop. It's just going to be that. And when you can see these values, you can actually maneuver them. You can get to a point where you can cause for them to reflect off of each other in a certain way, and you can actually actively attach and assign values or assign aspects to values in play around you. And this is a factor in what we call spot casting and how that works. And, you know, it's something that I'm getting better at all the time, and I've been using for a while now to kind of help you guys out, to give you pointers, because the fact of the matter, the bottom line difficulty here with doing this is that if I tell you guys something point blank, if I just tell you, you're gonna toss it. You always do. If I just give you something, say how to do something, give you, you know, a pointer on how to handle things or whatnot, you blow it off. I mean, you'll say, yeah, sure, okay, I understand, but then you'll fall back into that habit. So I have been kind of priming you guys for a while now, giving you all values and aspects, kind of just sneaking them in there, um, without you really knowing, so that at some point a cue, usually one that I've planted, sometimes the world will bring a cue out on its own, will trigger those aspects that I have placed in your mental inventory, and cause for you to have an idea of your own accord. And at that point, you'll actually follow through with it because it belongs to you. It wasn't something I just gave you and toss in the trash because it's meaningless to you. I don't know what you think of me. I'm sure a lot of you have a great deal of respect for me. It seems you guys, you're all very respectful to me, and you treat me with that. You show that sort of respect. But ultimately, when I direct you guys, directly, when I give you guys directions and you don't follow them, that's very disrespectful. Because, I mean, you're taking them. If you don't want them, then you can say no. I don't want to do that. But no, you say yes and then you blow it off. That's extremely disrespectful, and it ruins everything. I'm constantly planning things. I'm constantly priming people. That's all I do with any free time I have off of work. I'm priming people, plotting things, I'm setting agendas, I'm making plans to help people that need help, members out there I talk to. And for the directive, I wish you guys would get, um, engage with the members. Uh, and again, as always, I understand that you don't think you have the time for it, but really, that's just something you think. It's not real. A lot of what you guys are experiencing is not real. You're trapped in the illusion. I'm gonna get you out. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you out. You do have time. You can make time. You just you just lost. A lot of you're confused, but some of you are really pulling through right now. Randy, Allie, and everybody else is kind of slacking off, but Randy and Allie particularly, and Daniel Heater. I got a lot to say about you, man. In the next video I make, there's some big things happening. Some of them largely because of you, in fact. But Randy, Allie, Daniel, you guys are kicking ass, and I really appreciate that you are getting it. That you're starting to kind of wake up and feel this, get with it, and understand the value in it. That something that you guys need to understand, try to at least, is that this work is not a burden. This is an opportunity. You will all benefit just beyond your understanding. You will be rewarded in so many different ways that probably you don't even know about it. You're not even aware you could benefit in that way, but you will. You'll start to wake up to factors about yourself and your life that you didn't even know were there. You know, you guys are, some of you are the same age as me. You've been here on this planet for half a lifetime in this incarnation, and there are so many parts of yourself that you just don't even know are there yet. But we're gonna wake you up. We're gonna get you out of this trap that you're in, and we're gonna pull through. Allie and Randy, you guys are getting it. Daniel, you've probably had it for a while, so I really appreciate you jumping on board. And I'm glad that we kind of gave you a place to be here and something to work on, a purpose. If you consider it to be that, it seems as though you do. I'm very glad that you do, because that is indeed what it is, and it's you've been here for twice as long as most of us, and you've gained so much more wisdom, I'm sure, than I have, or the rest of us, all this time, without knowing that, yeah, you're an operative. You came here for a reason. This is it. This is the purpose of I'm sure there are many reasons, many purposes that you incarnated as who you are, and what you've done has mattered in many different ways, but ultimately, yes, you are an operative of the initiative. That's what you were born to be. You are here for that purpose. And welcome aboard, man. We're really glad to have you. We're gonna do some serious damage in this world. We're gonna grab this phantom that's been tricking and trapping our world, and we're gonna fuck it up. We're gonna break that shit. We're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna change things in such a magnificently positive manner. So stick with it, guys. Do not give up. Do not be discouraged. The members haven't reacted in public to me, all this time. But I stick with it. I still talk with all of them. I still counsel all of them. I still prime and cue all of them, and help them. And things are really starting to move and work out. A lot of people are starting to wake up and get it. You guys, Allie, Randy, whomever else might actually be getting it, you're starting to see. Things are starting to turn and come around. You don't see it on the surface, but it's happening in the substance. It's happening beneath the surface. This movement is working. Things are going to work. So do not be discouraged. Keep fighting. That's what's going to get it. Your persistence, your consistency is going to make this happen. And it will happen. You gotta fucking stick with it. Don't, shy off and fucking lose track and just kind of blow it off. Because what? I mean, are you embarrassed to keep trying? Or, are you really too lazy to do the simple things that I ask you to maybe once a week? No, I chose you guys because you are strong. You're fucking firm willed. I chose you guys because you're powerful, and because you have the potential to be amazing spotters and do some serious fucking great work in this world. And uh, get down to business, man. Come on, get with it. I'm going to teach you guys. This coming theme is responsibility, and I'm going to teach you guys. I'm going to teach you guys everything. I'm going to show you guys everything. I'm going to get you out. So uh, this video is dragged on too long. I apologize for that. If anybody, whomever is still watching this, thank you very much. Thank you. Just even, if you're even just a member who hasn't done much of anything, but you watch this video, thanks for being here. Everything that's happening is happening for a reason, and a whole hell of a lot of it is a reason I've designed myself. So this group, this page, this program is a high performance machine that is precisely designed to do specific things, and it can do a hell of a lot of good for anyone who engages it. You're gonna benefit. Trust me. You can trust me. I'm not gonna fucking screw you up. I'm gonna steer you right every time. So uh, thank you for this time, all 40 minutes of it. If you have that attention span, good for you, man. You're almost there. That's the first thing we need to get covered, is that attention span. If you've got that, you're almost there. you're already over the hill. So, as I said, keep with it, guys. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being it all. Kila Salai, Kariuni Siari, Namaste.